To start the process of using PDQ Deploy to deploy Support Team Assistant to a lot of devices at the same time, the first thing you need to do is create a template. So what I've done is I've installed it on this particular server, this PDQ server, and you want to run it, configure it the way you want, right click, settings, make sure all your settings are correct, set up all of your recipients, save it. And what that'll do is that'll create the configuration files on that computer. I'll show you where to get them. Open up your file explorer. The quickest way to get there is just use %appdata %, and then you're looking for the Support Team Assistant folder, and then you want to grab these two files. You're going to put them into a shared location. So in our case, I have a shared folder on a server on our network here, and I've put the recipients file here, and we have multiple sites at this particular business. And so what I would do is I would create separate user config files for each site, or if you've got different customers, if you're an MSP, you're going to create different user configs, and when you edit them, you'll be able to see that the last entry is the customer name, and you can change that customer name. We're using it for the different sites that we have here. So put the installer, the recipients, and your user config all on a shared location. And like I said, you got that from running settings so that it creates the files, set it the way you want, and make sure that it works, and then grab those files as your template. There is also a, let me show you. If you are wanting to disable the settings menu for your end users, like you don't want them to even be able to see the settings, even though it doesn't show passwords or anything like that, it is safe, but maybe you don't want the end users to even have the opportunity to change a setting and break it, you can go into the program files, x86, Support Team Assistant, and it's this setting config. If you right click and edit, if you set that to true, and then save this file, you won't be able to if you don't have admin rights, so maybe make a copy of this. So copy it, paste it somewhere that you can edit, like your downloads or whatever, change that to true, and then put that into a shared folder as well. You have the opportunity to turn that off for your end users when you're deploying at scale. I'm not going to for this demo, you would just add an extra step. Okay, so now that we've got all of our files in a shared spot in PDQ Deploy, you can see we have different ones for the different sites that we're using. I'll just use one as an example. And all of these are in the text file that's included with the download of the advanced version of the software anyway, but I figured I'd at least show it to you as well. I'm more of a visual person myself, so I'd like somebody to show me. So the first step you're going to create is an install step. Point it to that shared executable, and then you want to make sure to add these as parameters so that it knows to check the box, leave you alone, not bring up a prompt or anything like that. It just runs in the background. So make sure those are in there, and that's in the text file that we included with the download. After it's installed, you need to copy the settings file. So there's that user config file. You're going to copy it into the working directory. This is the default one. Make sure it's set to overwrite and ignore any errors. Okay, so we're grabbing, you point it to the user config, or where the target folder is, the installation folder, and we're going to do the same thing with the recipients file. Point it to wherever you put that recipients file. It goes in the same folder, make sure to overwrite. And then if you wanted to disable the settings menu, you would create another copy, and you would copy that user config file as well, and do to the same location, and that'll turn it off. And then once you've installed it, copied the settings into the working directory, then you can run it remotely, and this is also in that text file, you just paste that in here. The only thing to remember with this particular one is you have to go over to the Options tab and change this from the Deploy User, which is the default, down to Logged On User. That's it. Once you save all that and run it remotely against a device that's configured to work with PDQ Deploy, that'll install the software with the correct settings that you already wanted, and it'll be running in the background. Should run on reboot, and then your end users will always have it available to you.